Well, hey there, everybody. I'm David H. Lawrence, the 17th. I appreciate you joining me this morning. StreamYard has moved things all over the place since I was last here, so I have no idea where some things are, but that's okay. Do me a favor, if you could, just to confirm that you're here and hanging out, that you go to the comments below what you're watching on whatever channel you're on, if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn or YouTube, and just give me a comment. Where are you watching? And what do you do? Are you an actor? Are you a voice talent? Have you snuck in as a customer service rep and just decided this is your future? Let me know. Put it in the comments below. Let me know where you're seeing all this, and we're going to bring our guest on in just a second. That's also how you'll ask questions. And today is going to be all about asking questions about taking this shite show that we've had for the last year or two or three or five and turning it on its head if we can for 2025. Okay, great. So Giselle can see me. That's perfect. From London, which means the batteries that I replaced in my computer are just really powerful because we get all the way to London. That's great. All right. And anybody else, if you want to do that, that's fine. As I was saying, you can ask questions when we get into the meat of things here of our guest today, who is Jodie Bentley. Hi, Jodie.
Hello, I loved the reveal.
I
Hello.
know, isn't it cool? Who is? Holly's watching from Los Angeles.
Hey,
Fantastic. She's a singer, actor, and new VO talent.
love
At
it.
some point, Holly is going to have to realize that she is no longer new at
Dude.
being a VO talent, but that she is simply awesome. But we'll leave that up to her. So, um, Jodie,
Hi.
thank you for wearing your Wicked top this week.
Yes.
To Matt's here. Matt's from Greenville.
Hello.
Matt is an author who's doing narration, audiobook narration. So
Amazing.
narrating his own book, and he's thinking about narrating for others. Yeah, cool. So again, thank you for the Wicked top.
Yes.
And did you enjoy it?
Yes.
This is one of those questions you can ask and pretty much be sure of. It's kind of like they say lawyers should never ask a question in the courtroom unless they know the answer to the
Right.
question. That's one of those safe questions. So what'd you think of Wicked? Pretty good, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for that. And Julie's here.
Speaking
Julie
of Wicked,
actually,
Julie Garnier sang
she
on the
sang in Wicked. That's right. She was in the film. So that's cool. All right, awesome. So we got a great group of people here today. I woke up this morning feeling a little under the weather, but this has just made me feel so much better. So much better. Kind of the way some people have been thinking about this past year or so in our business.
Good.
You know,
Good.
that little like sour thing going on in the pit of your stomach.
Yeah.
What as far as I know, you just nailed a role on 911 Lone Star. I tried to watch it last night, but my version of YouTube TV wouldn't let me watch it till after midnight, and I had
Oh,
to get my beauty sleep. So
I
uh,
forgive
uh,
you.
some people are getting booked on stuff. You
Yeah.
know, in the world of voiceover, a lot more opportunity, a lot more bookings going on. Do we? Let's start with something very basic. Do we suffer when we tie the notion of success to the word booked?
Yes. Short answer. Yes.
So too long didn't read. Yes. But
Yes.
what's
Yeah.
behind that? I mean, it's like, we all got into this business because we wanted to be professionals, we wanted to make money, wanted to pay our bills with this. And for almost everybody, not just most people, but
Yeah.
almost everybody who attempts to do this, it's not easy, and it's
Right.
usually ends up in failure, and we have to make adjustments to try and fix that. So what happens when we put all of our money in the bucket of I got to book this or I'm a failure?
Yeah, just this morning I came off a Q&A call with some of my clients, and one of the girls was showing her audition, like the submission ratio to audition ratio to callback ratio, right, of things. She wanted to like wrap up her year and wrap her head around it, and like her manager had got her submitted her for 72 auditions and she got 6 auditions. And she was like, Jodie, I only got 6 auditions. I was like, you understand that's 12%? Like you got seen for 12% of what your agent submitted you for. And I think sometimes we got to actually look at the data and the math and the stats behind things to know like that's really good. If your callback ratios are different now because I think things are going straight to producers. We're not getting as many callbacks, right? For the on camera world. But if you look at your booking ratio now, like if you're getting even like a 7% booking ratio, a 10% booking ratio, like that's really good. And I think we tend to focus on the lack of what we don't have and go, if I don't book this, I'm a failure. But you're only going to book 10% of them anyway. So it all comes down to, I think, what is your definition of success, number one. I think the definition of success thrust upon all of us is the booking, the size of the role, the booking. Oh, a studio film is much more important than an indie film, right? An indie film is much more important than a student film, right? With all these things are thrust upon us. And I think it's really important to understand your own definition of success, what drives you, and putting the value in the journey. Like you don't choose to be an actor, an artist, a voiceover talent because it's going to be easy. And you choose it because you love it. And we know that there's going to be ups and downs within that. But when you put all the pressure on, I must book every single job or book this thing or get this callback, it just becomes so draining and so hard because mathematically speaking, it's not statistically possible. It's just not possible.
And you're kind of describing things from the plus side, describing yourself as a failure on the negative side for not booking.
Right.
Well, welcome to reality. I mean,
Yeah.
not booking is the norm. If you're booking
Right.
5% or 10% or whatever that means you're not booking 95%
Right.
or 90% of what you're doing.
Right.
And you have to be at peace with that. So this is just a little bit of the common sense wisdom that Jodie shares with her clients on a regular basis all year long. She's got this great program called Dare to be Unstoppable, but she's doing a free set of master classes. And I say set because each day's master class is the same.
Yep.
You just get to pick different dates.
Yes.
Next week, the 11th, the 13th, and the 14th. Am I right?
Yep. Correct.
Okay. So what's going to happen in these things?
I'm going to give you a lot of information and we're going to have a conversation to really assess where you're at now, what's been going on in your career, and how to shift that, how to change that. Like the thing that really got me this year was that phrase that was tossed around all year of survive until 2025. Like that phrase just got me really, did you hear that? Like everyone was tossing that around. And that just got me really angry because like, I don't want to just survive. And I know you guys don't want to just survive. And I get the sentiment of it. But now if you're like, okay, survive until 2025, like on January 1st, like the magic thrive switch is going to be, flipped. And we're all just now going to be thriving, like we get to plan for that. And you get to create a career where you are thriving. And that does take assessment and planning and really discerning what it is that you actually want. I think a lot of times, I think over the past year anyway, 4 years for that matter, a lot of actors have lost sight of what it is that they really want or got disenchanted by it. Or maybe their goals shifted or what they wanted in this career shifted, how they thought about this career shifted. And it's really important to come to terms with that and not just put on our blinders and jump into 2025 expecting everything to be different. Yeah. So that's really what we're going to talk about in the masterclass.
So use the link you see there on the screen. It's very simple, voheroes.com/dare, D-A-R-E, voheroes.com/dare. And when you get there, pick your date. Your date's going to be various times of day, various days of the week. Yeah. And it's there because we all have things going on during the holiday season. We all have things going on in our personal lives, in our professional lives. We're doing, if not auditioning and working on set or in studio, we're doing office hours work around our career and things like that. Yeah. So let me sort of be the voice of people who are like, I am this close to going back to my knot. I know where the Jack in the Box is there. I know I can get a job at the Piggly Wiggly. I know that nobody's going to ask me, oh, really? Have I seen you in anything? Nobody's going to like put this pressure on me that I feel myself.
Mm.
words of advice for people who are getting ready to jump ship?
Ooh, it's such a personal thing, isn't it? You know, it's well, first of all, if you've been someone who said, "You know what? I'm gonna give it a year and see what happens." That's never the right way to start on this business, right? Because if you're in this, you're in this for the long haul. So number one, if that's how you're feeling, it's really important to assess if that is truth or ego. Is that your truth that you are done with this business? Because there's times, and I've had clients go, you know what, this is not what I want. I don't want this lifestyle. I don't want the hustle of it. I don't want those things. And I think it's really important to assess what kind of life do you want. Like my husband moved to LA to be an actor, got found his way into production and was like, oh no, I'm never going to act again. Like he didn't like the lifestyle of the hustle of it, and that's totally valid. So I think,
Yeah.
but if you're having these feelings of leaving the business, and I first want to say, first of all, it's totally normal to doubt. It's totally normal to have those feelings. If you didn't doubt that you were doing this career, I'd be worried, right? I'd be worried. Of course, we're going to have doubts. The fact that we've chosen to do this, you've had the courage to choose to be an artist is huge. And of course, we're going to doubt that. But I think it's really important to assess. Okay, I'm thinking of going and working at the Piggly Wiggly, as you suggested. Is that my truth? Is that really what I want? Or am I just feeling disenchanted? Is my ego bruised? Right? Or is this coming from, well, I don't need this industry, so I'm going to go somewhere else? Like, what is it really coming from? Because I think sometimes we make reactive decisions that feel good in the moment, but that might not be the actual truth of what you want. And then 2 years from now, you're like, oh my God, I'm working at the Piggly Wiggly. What did I do? you know?
Well, I think also people sometimes use that phrase, sort of in various forms. If I don't book something by,
Yes.
I'm out of here.
Yes.
And I think sometimes, it's a remnant of our childhood because it's like you're threatening the industry. I'm going to leave if you don't help me be successful. It's like I don't know that that works, but if it I don't think that's a path you want to go down. I think that in general, this notion of being able to survive while pursuing an acting career, um, not everybody gets the brass ring, but when you do get the brass ring, all of that work, like there's not a video that you'll find on TikTok or Instagram or Facebook of a famous actor who isn't going to talk about what they did before
Right.
they were even modestly successful.
Yep.
I saw Bill Hader talking about being a ticket taker at a movie theater in Arizona. I saw somebody talking about working at a Piggly Wiggly.
Mhm.
I saw somebody who said, what I did was I got a job in the industry. I got a job being a receptionist. I got a job being a paid intern for a casting office. I mean, that's kind of my story. I was doing a radio show to fund my
Right.
career to get into acting, and now as I look back on that, it was like, the things that I did to move into the industry were to find out how the business worked.
Yeah.
And so there's a whole bunch of paths that you who are watching this may not be aware of that Jodie has found. Not just, she's not going to show you how to find a survival job,
Yep.
but what she is going to do is show you how to manage your mindset around this business and also do some practical things that aren't woo woo that can really help. If you were to describe what uh, your perfect client reaction is to what you do, in other words, what would you want a perfect client to be able to take what you teach and work with? What would you want them to do, as opposed to going, listen, I've been at this for a long time. I know what I'm doing. I'm failing, but I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
What would you tell? What do you tell people when you onboard them to your program? What do you tell them
Yeah.
to maximize what you're going to share with them and make it work?
Um, but the masterclass and my whole program is set up very linearly. And I think that what you just said, David, is like, well, I know that. I know how to set goal. I've done that. I've done that. Well, really, how's it worked out for you? Because it hasn't worked out for you. Great. Follow what I'm going to teach you. It's been like, this whole thing that I put together, and even what I teach in the masterclass is literally like, 15, 16, 18 years now. I don't even know, of trial and error of what really works and what it takes to get your mind in alignment to support you, to have a plan that will generate results and action, and have consistency and strategies to keep you moving forward and not get sidetracked. And I think we need all those pieces in place, right? I know some people are like, no, I feel great. I know I can do this. Well, what's your plan? I don't have one. Okay, well, I have a plan, but do you believe you can achieve it? No. Or I have a plan, but halfway through the year, I lose it. And then, I don't know what I've been doing, right? Or whatever. So, I think we need all those pieces together. And that's really what I've structured in my program, is that. That's why I call it a proven system, because I really believe it is. I don't just throw buzzwords out there. I really believe this is proven, that if you do follow it, it will work. And I've seen it countless times with the people who've gone through this program of like, oh my God, I had a woman, 65 years old, switched from being an actor into writing. And by the end of that first year of her in this program, and my program is a lifetime program, so you can keep doing it every year. You have lifetime access to start your year that way. The first year she did this program, by the end of the year, she was she wrote a script, but got paid to write the script, and the script got produced by a studio by the end of the year. And she had been floundering for years and years and years, just trying to give herself focus to get stuff off the ground.
I wonder how many of those years she would encounter something that could have helped her, some bit of knowledge, bit of wisdom, some training like you offer with Dare to Be Unstoppable, and immediately reacted like this. Oh yeah, that doesn't apply to me. Yeah. That applies to like beginners or people from Minot. I don't know, people who've worked at Piggly Wiggly at some point in their life. Not me though. And I think that's a huge mistake. It's amazing what, remember the golden nuggets that could be lying on the floor, as Christine Aller used to describe them. You never know.
Yeah.
There have been times when people are saying something in conversation and you just go, wait, hold on, back up. What did you just say?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that little tiny adjustment on the knob that makes things so much better.
Yep.
Yeah. So what will we learn in any one of the three Be Prepared to Be Unstoppable 2025 sessions that are happening next week? If you go to the URL on your screen there, voheroes.com/dare, what will we be given? I know we're going to have lists of things and formats and structures and strategies and tactics, but what are we going to get?
We are going to talk a lot about mindset. We're going to talk about big vision, your passion. I think we lose sight of that. I think that's why a lot of people do leave this business, is because they get bitter and jaded and burnt out. And it's really hard to keep that passion going. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. I'm going to share with you my badass goal setting system, which I love. So we're going to break down what that is and really go deep on two parts of that are essential, that most people forget about when planning, that I think are the most important pieces. So we're going to share that with you. Now I'm blanking on what else there is, but it's my three. I'm going to share with you 3 solid steps, but each step has like 4 steps to it, because I'm a Virgo and like to overshare.
Yeah, you said the word goal there, and it came up for me in the past week. I was talking to somebody at Hugo's, and they were talking about, I wish, and at no point in time did they said I wish like maybe 8 times. And at no point in time did they say, my goal is, and I'm wondering if you feel like I do, that there is a very distinct difference between wanting, wishing, hoping for something and doing the work of setting a goal. And I'm asking this because some people don't see the difference.
There's a huge difference. And people can even set goals and still not create a plan. So I think there's a wish of like, oh, I wish to book a series regular on television. I wish that, I hope for that, I dream for that. My goal is to book a series regular on television. I could say the same things, But
Yeah.
then how are you executing that? What is your plan? How are you reverse engineering that to really build yourself a strategy to make that possible? No, I'm not in control of if I book a series regular. I'm not in control of that. And I think that's why people get allergic to goal setting or don't like it or don't like using the word goal, because I know I've had clients tell me, actors tell me, oh, if I set a goal and I don't hit it, I feel like a failure.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I created then my badass goal system, because it's really important to have a goal that does feel achievable to you, but stretches you, but that you can create milestones along the way to be able to hit it. And those milestones are all things that you're in control of. And I'm going to talk a lot about that in the masterclass, because I think sometimes the goals feel so out of our reach that even like 3 months into the year, people go, well, I gave up because it just feels so big. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you didn't break it down far enough. You didn't give yourself enough of a strategy or a plan to see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're just focusing on the closed tunnel at the other end, you know? So for me, it's really more of like, yes, we can have a wish, but you got to set that goal and make it concrete, write that down to then be able to craft the plan and the strategy to keep you on the train tracks for the year.
Yeah. As the banner says on your screen, ask your questions in the comments below. We'd love to see what they are. Even if for some reason we don't see your comment because the internet is a weird and wonderful place, we will see it if you tag us in the recording once we're done, and we will take care of getting back there and seeing it. All of these channels are public, so Jodie will be able to see it if you tag Jodie with her username on whatever system you're on. And I want you to really set aside the opportunity to do this, because what you're getting here is little tiny slices of vanilla loaf with Jodie. Here's an answer to a question David asked. Here's an answer to a question David asked. Here's an answer to a question that somebody who attended asked. But when you take those kind of disparate things, because I don't know what's going on in people's heads, and they'll come up with questions at random. But if you take those disparate things and you put them into a system, which is what Jodie has. And it's one of the reasons I love her stuff, because we think alike in many ways. For those of you that have been through VO Heroes or the ACX Masterclass, all of that stuff is also taught linearly within each course.
Yeah.
So if we're going to talk about commercials, we start at the beginning and we end at the end. We're not jumping around to the good stuff. Even the curriculum is set up that way, and Jodie does the same thing. So what I'd love for you to do is hit the link. It's also in the description on all of the channels. So if you go up to the description of this event, there's going to be a clickable link there for you to hit for voheroes.com/dare. And I want you to pick a date next week that makes sense to you. And please do me one other favor if you could. Once you set your date, think about your friends. Think about the people. Don't keep this to yourself. Don't be a selfish dude or dudette. Think about the people that you care about in your professional life that would benefit from this, and that have really kind of suffered over the last half decade or even in the last year with how our business has been going. I want to talk to Jodie a little bit later on about the strikes, and a little bit later on about the new rules and what we fought for, and AI, and we'll do that. But I want to get your questions as well. So do go to this link, but also ask your questions. Put them in the chat. I'm going to check real quick here to see what we have. What?
I said hey to Jake. He had a comment. He said hi.
Where? Jake O'Flaherty?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, Jodie. My name's David. Evelyn McCauley said, had a conversation today on how to determine whether workouts, workshops, etc., with casting directors, agents, and so forth are worth the time.
Yeah.
There's some words missing here. Do you have any ideas on how to evaluate all the opportunities that are out there? Man, it's crazy. Even after the legal things that just, killed the workshop community, there aren't that high. Okay. All right, Jake. Thank you. But, we are bombarded. I mean, I am on everybody's lists.
Mm-hmm.
I know what have a feeling. I don't know exactly what everybody's doing. I don't have that much time during the day, but I know what's going on. And there are so many things to choose from.
Yeah.
Like, how do we know that you're worth attending? Like, just my word for it. I mean, like, what do you say to people? It's like, what, how do I know that I wouldn't be wasting my time? And I don't know. It's a tough thing to talk about. I love talking about it. It's
Yeah.
like, you might be wasting your time. I don't know. You'll have to go and find out. But that's just
Correct.
one thing. So.
So, first of all, that's why I do the free math. I'll talk about my class and then I'll answer your question, Evelyn, on the casting workshops. But that's why I do these free master classes. I do these once a year, this particular class, morphed obviously for the time that we are in now. And that's why I do the free class, is for us to get to know each other, for me to give you some gold nuggets, as David is saying. And if that resonates with you, great. And you know what? There's a lot out there. And I think a lot of times we make decisions based on FOMO as opposed to the truth of what we need. And so one thing that I do with the free masterclass is when you sign up, I send you, I think it's like I don't even know, it's like a 14-page thing. And I give you like a little homework assignment before the class.
Wait. I have to do work?
Yes.
What?
It's fun though. It's like assessing.
Okay.
Answering some questions about yourself to get your mind right for the workshop, right?
Yeah.
And if you
I
resonate,
joke. I joke. There are
know.
lots of people out there, you go to their Zoom session or whatever, and they talk at you
Yeah.
for 30 minutes or whatever, and they say, buy my shit.
Yeah.
And what I love is that you have to ante up. You have to say, okay, I'm going to spend some time filling out this stuff because I need to give my focus to this. And if I were answering Evelyn's question, my one thing would be is like, somebody shows up and goes, great, who's next? That's the worst, as opposed to being focused on what they're teaching you. And Jodie is so focused. It's silly. It's stunning to watch you work. But go ahead. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, you're good. You're good. But Evelyn's question, right? How to determine what's worth your time. You get to, first of all, Evelyn, you get to know what it is that you want. Because this is the thing. We get all these classes, all these emails, every list of, oh, you can meet this casting director and you can take this class and I could take this thing and I could take this workshop. And there's so much. And my brain is just like your brain. We see these things, we go, I want to do all of that. And if I don't, I'm a terrible person. I'm a terrible actor. I'm a terrible human, right? Whatever. We start making up, like the mind takes over and we start making up all these stories, right? Like that's going to solve the problem. If I don't do this, I'm never going to make it, right? We make these huge generalizations. So I really appreciate this question, but that is why you get to know what you want on such a deep level to be able to be discerning if something is worth your time, to be able to go, no, this is my plan. This is the focus. This is the career path and strategy I want for myself. So does this make sense? Does it support this goal or not? Is it going to help me or not? You said casting director workshops. I just did a workshop last night. I'm part of a membership group called The Collaborative. I love it. We audition for casting directors. It's a monthly fee. I love this community of actors that I'm a part of, and we get to meet casting. I did a workshop last night. I've discerned that group and the people they bring in are worth my time, right? So Evelyn, you just got to take a step back and go, what do you want? What is missing? What plates do you already have spinning? What plates are not spinning? Where are the holes? Where are the gaps in your career? And your big job is filling those holes. Sometimes we lean into like, well, I'm good at this. I'm going to keep studying that. You already know that. Stop studying the thing you know. If you need to fill a gap somewhere, fill the gap. But again, you got to take a step back and take a 10,000-foot view on your own career and go, what is working? What is not working? What do I have already? And what am I missing? Then you can make those choices.
Yeah, I think there's also kind of an undercurrent and I'm not going to try to put words in Evelyn's mouth, but there's an undercurrent sometimes in this notion of, it's kind of a version of FOMO, but it's more, once I find that one little trick that these A-listers are doing to get their agents and get their offers and get the good scripts, once I find that, I'm going to be just fine. And I wonder how you present the notion that one trick doesn't exist.
There's there's no trick, you guys. I wish, like going back to the Matrix, like the red pill, the blue, I wish I could give you a pill, right? And everything would be hunky dory. It just is, there is no trick. It doesn't exist, right? If you want something, you got to figure out how to get it.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what you want, you got to figure out what you want, right? So, like Evelyn, even if what I said to you was like, well, I don't know exactly what I want or exactly what my goal is. Well, that's the first step. You know what I mean? And then if you know what you want, you got to figure out what's been getting in your way.
Yeah.
It's the assessment piece is so important. And I feel like every actor skips that. So I go, well, I want to be an actor and I want to be on TV, and they just go. And you never stop to go, what's actually working? Is this actually what I want now? I've been pursuing this for 10 years. Is TV really what I want? Or maybe it's commercials, maybe it's audiobooks, right? What is it? How are you feeling? And people just don't take the time to do that. And I promise you, when you take the time to understand you and what you want and get out of your own way, you know how your mind works, and get out of your own way, this career will be easier and happier. You'll be happier
Yeah.
in it because you
Yeah.
will know. And decisions like you're talking about, Evelyn, will be easier.
Yes. She followed up with, "We're all looking for the magic bullet."
Yes.
And
Right.
I would suggest to you that one of the reasons that we don't find the magic bullet is there is no one magic bullet, even individually.
Right.
It's a box of ammunition. It's like a bandolier. The number of different methods and strategies and tasks and tactics and secrets, magic bullets, whatever,
Right.
dozens and dozens of things, depending upon the situation, depending upon your needs at that point.
Yeah.
I think that we instead of thinking of it like a magic bullet, I would think of it as an armory, a
Yes.
preparatory group of things to do. That seems like an awful lot of work for some people. I just want one magic bullet. Can we
I
just
know.
one? No.
I
So
know. I
yeah.
know.
So
But
how do
sometimes
you
you only need the one, but you might not know what it is. So
right?
you gotta, like I've had clients take my Dare to Be Unstoppable course and only complete module one, and they took off because the magic bullet they needed was just in there.
So
You know what I mean?
what's the magic bullet for module one?
It's whatever that person needed. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the whole first module is all about this assessment piece, but people don't even know how to assess properly. I know the right questions to ask themselves.
Well, they're not asked to do those things to go work at Piggly Wiggly. Would
Right.
you rather work the sandwich station or point of sale? What? And I want to be careful. I've never worked at Piggly Wiggly, and anything that I share with you about working at Piggly Wiggly is coming out of my imagination.
I
I don't
know.
even know if there is a sandwich station or point of sale, and I never want
I
to
was
know.
convinced. I was convinced. I was
Yeah.
about to say this video is not sponsored by Piggly Wiggly. I was
No.
about to say that the
No.
amount of times we've said it now.
Yeah. This what I'm hearing also in Evelyn's question is a limitation on resources and being frugal, careful, strategic with how you deploy those resources. I get that.
Yeah.
And I hear people all the time, especially given the change in perception about how much work there is or isn't
Right.
anymore or won't be in the future.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about what, like you mentioned audiobooks, and I loved having you as an audiobook student and I was surprised with the number of audiobooks that you'd done. I forget what you said last time. It was over 20, wasn't it?
Over 50.
Oh, I'm sorry. What I said was it was over 50, wasn't it? I watch my students do that takeoff thing, and then I'm like, wait, what? You're doing what? That's great. That's fantastic. So, but we have this still looming kind of like sort of Damocles hanging over us all in terms of the amount of work that will be around for voice talent, for audiobook narrators, for actors on camera, commercial,
Yeah.
stage, because of AI.
Mm-hmm.
In the last year, I have kind of throttled back on my inner defensiveness about AI.
Okay.
I haven't seen it make the inroads that the black shirt t-shirt.com crowd thinks AI is going to make in our business.
Mhm.
And I'm wondering what your thoughts are, if you could share.
Yeah. This year was an interesting year post strike, right? I think I had the anticipation that January would be, yay, gangbusters, we're back. And it wasn't like that this year. This was a really odd year. And now that we're through all the strikes and the IATSE strikes, yes, people are still talking about AI, and of course, seeing Sora and all the stuff that's happening. But I gotta tell you, the amount of auditions I've had in the past month and a half, I just got put on a veil for a project. Another project that I booked early just, aired yesterday. There's things that are happening. Productions are back. TV shows are back. There was a ton of auditions. I think January is going to be great. We're going to see more of that. I think we're just going to increase it. I think the normal way of doing television and film will still exist. Will there be AI divisions in those things? For sure. They're going to play with that, figure that out. There could be an AI Oscars in 2032 for all we know. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? But the work hasn't come. Like, the diminishing of work this year was not due to AI. It was due to studios getting back on their feet and figuring out what they're doing and how to move forward in the new times that we are in. And now I'm seeing us getting back there. Like, I've had clients booking things. Just last night, I was watching a series. I saw 2 clients on a show. I was like, like, things are happening. And if
I
you
have an X now, I think partially due to the fact that when I watch television, I go, "Oh, John, my client, John, Julie, my client," you
all
know,
the time.
and they're like, "I'm trying to watch this. I should go now." So anyway, yeah, I feel the same way, and I also there's this phrase, "The proof is in the pudding." I spent some time doing some dramatic readings
Yeah.
of the reviews that artificial intelligence, synthetic voices are getting for their work just in the audiobook
Mm,
world. Not good.
yeah.
So I think that the sky is falling fear that some people have about this might be unfounded. And you put your little clip up of you in the trailer getting all gussied up in your police uniform. And how did that? I mean, how did that make you feel? I'm sure there were some years that you didn't get as much work as you did last year or this year,
Right.
um, without the pandemic and without
Yeah.
uh, AI and without the studios getting back on their feet. You know,
Yeah, I mean, I shot that in May, and I was just so grateful for work, because January, February, March was just like, what is happening, and just like the fears of coming out of the strikes. So no, it was really lovely, and I got to say, like, and I'm in a book, and I just booked an audiobook. David just booked an audiobook that I'm recording in February of next year. So already mapping out work for 2025, which feels really great. Um, but it's like, but I say that, and I say all this extremely humbly, of course, but I know that all this stuff is continuing to happen for me because I still have a plan and I work it,
yeah,
because I've done the work, because I recalibrated and would reassess and go, what's working, what's not. Okay, let's shift things. And I have the ability to do that because that's what I teach, and I think so many people get caught up in, oh my God, I haven't had an audition in 2 months. Oh my God, I'm an awful actor. Oh my God, I should probably quit. Oh my God. Right. And then you spiral down into this place
yeah,
and don't know how to pick yourself up to get back on track. And that's
yeah,
just because you don't have the tools to know how to do that. That's all. Right. It took me a long time to figure out those tools. I learned them on my own through trial and error and then systemized them for other people. But I know that's why I've still been getting auditions and doing all of that, is because I've been able to have that strategy in place and still focus on my strategy, even if I get scared or worried or whatever.
yeah, yeah. Jen Greenfield, Jodie is like my sister from another mister. Love her approach to the industry, her POV on objectives and strategy, and just getting it done.
Thanks, Jen.
And Jen's awesome. She's very similar to you, so
Well,
she's great.
apparently we're
Yeah,
sisters.
yeah, from another mister.
Yes.
I think it's also interesting that you said it took me a long time to get these tools together. I think it's also important to note that Jodie also has been updating what she does and how she does it. and the tools and the practices and the things that
Yeah.
are the magic bullets in the armory or whatever have changed over the years.
Yeah.
And so having somebody like Jodie in your corner to be able to say, hey, listen, this worked in 2015,
Right.
this works in 2024, 2025.
Yeah.
And knowing which of these things, I see people spinning their wheels
Yeah.
all the time,
Yeah.
mostly on social media. In the world of voiceover, just to be specific about it, if I see one more person talking about how great the warmth on a particular mic is, it's like you have no idea whether that warmth that you're experiencing is going to be experienced by
Mm,
someone of a different gender, someone of a different age group, someone of a different bass pitch in their voice.
true.
Why are I have to like sit back and go, leave it alone. It's okay. They want to talk. It's fine. Let them talk. But gosh, wouldn't it be better if some of that time was spent thinking, how can I get more work, or how can I be better at my job so that when it's time for somebody to determine whether I would be a fit for a particular role, it's an easier decision for them? I mean, do you think people worry about the wrong things from time to time? He
Yes.
asked as he tossed the softball toward Jodie Bentley.
Of course. I think people focus on the wrong things all the time. I have some, now clients, but people go, oh, I'm just so busy. I'm just so busy. I'm like, well, what are you focusing on? And the concept of busy work is a real thing, right? I think a lot of people just focus on being busy, but it's actually not moving the needle. What are you doing to actually move the needle? What are you doing to generate more opportunities, more work, more connections, more relationships? That's the important part. And yes, of course, I talk a lot about branding as well. That's not what this masterclass is about. But like, of course, you need to know who you are and what you sell and how you package that, right? So there is some minutia involved in that sometimes, of getting caught up in the weeds of mapping your headshots, planning that, or your website, or all those things. But I do think people focus a lot on the wrong thing. I think we focus too much on what is comfortable. I had a client recently, that was her big realization. She was in my mastermind group for a long time. And as we were working together, I was like, she does not want to feel uncomfortable. So no matter what she did, she was focusing on comfort and stability, which I get. Of course, we all want to be comfortable. Of course, we want to feel stable in this world. But the career we've chosen is not a comfortable career. It's not comfortable. Every audition you do is uncomfortable in some capacity. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
it's not, if we're striving for comfort all the time, you will never get where you want to go. So she was focusing on all the wrong things to keep her little safety comfort bubble, right? She would do just enough, but not move out of that safety comfort bubble. So taking risks and really putting herself out there were not in her vocabulary. But once she removed that and started moving past that, that's when her career took off. That's when she got an agent. That's when everything happened. So yeah, I think people focus on the things they know to focus on. That's why I always say, you don't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard. So
Yeah.
how do you figure it out?
Yeah.
That's like what Evelyn said. Then you go to these workshops, you go to master classes, and you figure out what resonates with you, and they go, oh, that's what's missing. That's the gap. That's what I need to learn. But you need to know what you want first.
I want to ask you about being precious. We have about a little less than 20 minutes left. I've taken at this point a little over 500 actors out to lunch. I try to do it once a week, once every other week. People new to the business, people who are struggling, etc. They're usually hungry for food and hungry for information. And one of the things that pops up for me over and over and over again is I'll say, listen, you have to understand that you're an entrepreneur, that you're a business person.
Yeah.
You might want to be that lofty artist that you aspire to be, and you are. That's also part of you. But have you encountered people less often, more often, the same? Back in the day, I used to talk to them all the time, and they'd go, listen, I'm an artist, okay? I don't want to talk about booking. I don't want to talk about audition technique. I'm an artist. I don't want to talk about the money. I don't want to talk about contracts. I don't want to know about that. It's like they feel as though if they do get skilled in those things, running a business, that somehow that will sully their artwork.
Hmm.
Have you encountered that at all?
I do a little bit, but I think when people want to work with me or they become my client, they're ready. They go, okay, I know that's what I've been missing, you know. But I've definitely encountered that. I think I was that when I was in New
Well,
York
then
in my
great.
early
How
20s.
did you and how do you help them be at peace with the notion that it's okay to be able to pay your rent?
Yeah,
It's okay to be able to make your car payment. It's okay to not struggle if you can avoid it, because I think some
yeah.
people get used to the struggle.
Oh yeah. But look, all of that, even what we're talking about, those are all it goes back to mindset. Those are all like limiting beliefs. Because I did believe in my 20s that I couldn't make money from my art, that I didn't deserve it. Right. Because I saw what my family was, very lower middle class. No one in my family went to college for what they loved. I went to NYU for acting, for Christ's sake, you know. So when I graduated, I had all this baggage and pressure, but I didn't book work for so long because all these limiting beliefs were holding me back. So I did all this lovely theater, very artsy theater for free that I never got paid for, which felt good. Then there was a point where I was like, what am I doing? Like, if I'm making a career out of this, I need to shift something. So if someone's saying that they think the business will sully their career, there's just a limiting belief there that is holding you back. And we got to identify what that is to be able to move forward and reframe that.
Yeah.
Because for me, just to say, no, it's not, you deserve to be paid, it's not going to help. But you know what I mean? It's just not going to help. And I've had clients like that come to me and go, well, I still don't want to learn this. I feel like, you know, I just want to be an artist. I'm like, okay, well, then go do community theater. There's ways you could do it if that's what you want to do, but you must have business skills and a business mindset and an entrepreneurial spirit to be an actor or a voiceover artist in today's industry. You
Yeah.
must.
I often say to people, think about the person that you want to trade careers with, that you
Mm,
see as so successful and
yeah,
so popular, and like you'd be them in a heartbeat, right?
yeah.
Trust me, they know how this business works. They
Yes.
practice. They may have a team that's doing some of the
Oh, yeah.
some of the work for them, but
Mhm.
they get it. That's why it's so much fun to watch Kristen Bell or Bryan Cranston or, you name it, talk to you about acting on those videos that you see on Instagram,
Right.
because they've learned it. They're
Yeah.
not sitting there going, yeah, you know what, right? So this is the kind of
Yes.
stuff that makes a difference, and that you're going to learn from Jodie. And these are free. She's giving up hours of her time to talk to you in particular, and to give you the ability to get started organizing your life around a business that doesn't organize itself around
Right.
you at all.
Right.
So please go to voheroes.com/dare. You'll get a chance to pick your date.
Yep.
Pick whichever date next week you want, the 11th, the 13th, or the 14th. Different times of day, different days of the week. And I have a question for you, because we had somebody who had put a comment. I didn't post it, but where is it? Giselle
Oh,
is having surgery, and will these be recorded?
yeah, we typically don't. And then I get emails from people saying I missed it, and then I'm a big softy, and then I usually put out a replay. So just sign
Okay.
up for one, Giselle, and we'll figure it out. We can get you a recording.
Okay, so cool. Um, uh, there's so much I could talk to you for hours on the way the business has changed,
Yeah.
the way our perceptions can color how we approach the challenges of our business. We make assumptions, just as a random one. AI is going to kill the business.
Right.
Okay, well, you got a great option there. Go work at Piggly Wiggly. That's the thing to do. If you Because seriously, if you believe
Yeah.
that this business eventually is going to go away because of AI.
Mhm.
Well, I don't blame you for, like, trying to find some place where AI does not know how to make a sandwich yet,
No, not yet.
right? Not
The
yet.
robots will learn
There are
eventually.
some robots that look pretty good, but they're kind of difficult and finicky, and they're like talking about unionizing. So anyway, I just wonder if backing up a step or two is part of your training in terms of identifying your assumptions and identifying whether, as you put
Yeah.
them, those things are stopping you before you get started.
Of course, that's a huge part, right? Again, it's uncovering the limiting beliefs that we learned as kids that get in our way that we don't even realize, right? And how that manifests into excuses. But also these assumptions as well also hold us back, right? But those assumptions are either based on what we've learned, there's people we surround ourselves with, maybe what they say and what they think, or it could be manifesting somehow from a limiting belief that you're holding on to, you know. So yeah, and I will say we talk a lot about the course. We won't talk about this so much in the masterclass, but the course isn't just about career. The course is about life. So we talk about your goals for your life personally, health goals, financial goals, relationship goals, all of those things. Because of how you do one thing is how you do everything. That's a phrase you probably heard before, and I really believe that how we show up in our business is also how we're showing up in our personal life, and vice versa. And so really, it is about identifying those patterns, assumptions, beliefs that are holding you back from all of that,
Right.
because they will cross over for
Right.
sure. That
And
woman that
was
I mentioned, that 65-year-old screenwriter, also moved into like a retirement community that year, and I think started dating somebody. Like everything opened up for her when she started taking the course, because she was examining all the pieces of her life and not just career, 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 career.
I would just like to point out that some people's journeys are not everyone's journeys.
Of course.
Jen wants to know how long the masterclass is. She wants to sign up, but she only sees a start
Yes,
time. What is
I
it
would
normally?
plan on 90 minutes, Jen. Plan on 90 minutes because there's
90
a juicy Q&A that always happens, and it usually goes long.
Juicy.
It's
It's juicy.
juicy.
Yeah. I love the idea of checking your assumptions at the door and identifying limiting beliefs. It's funny. The process of identifying limiting beliefs, finding out where they started, replacing them with enabling beliefs
Mhm.
is something that was so powerful when it happened to me, when I learned how to lead others in that, and I've watched you do it as well, and it's really, really, like, it's kind of like this, piece of chocolate fudge that you forgot you had in your lunch pail, and it's like, oh yeah, I forgot I have this too. This is so cool,
Yeah.
and it becomes really useful in so many areas of what we do. You talked
Yes.
about defining success. And
Mhm.
anybody who's taken my courses knows that I define success very simply: do more of what works and less of what doesn't. And the tough part there sometimes is figuring out what works, what doesn't, what
Yeah,
appears to work but doesn't work as well as you think it does, things that are destructive as opposed to useful.
yeah,
And at no point in there is success defined as booking a series regular role
yeah.
or any sort of outcome. It's like, how is it working for you? How are the things that you're doing working for you?
Mhm.
What flexibility, like, if somebody gets into your course, is it like a rigid thing? You got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, or is there flexibility for people who have different approaches to things and different approaches to their career?
Well, it kind of goes back to like the armory, right? Or the toolbox that kind of we were talking about. So like I've created this linear plan. Some steps in the plan, I give you options of how minds work. You know what I mean? And then I had one person go, "This thing, I'm trying to do this thing and it's not working for me." I'm like, "Great, don't do it." That's not how your brain works. Don't do it. Skip to the next step. Right? We're not all the same. But one thing that I pride myself on is that I've worked with like 2,300 actors now in all my times of coaching. Like, and I've really, I really made it my mission to understand how people learn in the different ways and modalities people learn. And I think, David, you're very much the same way. So that's kind of how I build the course to not just apply to my Virgo brain, but how do other people's brains work, and how can this information be digested in multiple ways or presented in multiple ways for people to get it. And I really pride myself on having done that. And then there's still times where people go, nope, this doesn't work for me. And I'm like, great. Then how about if you try it this way? Oh, okay. That's why we have Q&As throughout the year. That's why we have check-ins. That's why we have that stuff, right? So I can help you morph things if that does arise. So no, there has to be. Is it rigid? No, there's a plan. There's a structure. I think sometimes people think plans and structures are rigid. I think plans and structures allow freedom, because it gives you space to breathe and go, I'm just going to follow this plan. And if something doesn't work for me in the plan, I can toss it out and keep following the plan, right? But you want to have a plan and a system to fall back on, like a soft cushion that can hold you, as opposed to like this rigid thing that you got to do.
Yeah, well, I think part of it is having something that's identifiable and reliable.
Yeah.
I think some people, they decide some bright sunny Tuesday morning or late some Friday night after seeing some incredible play at their local Fox theater or whatever, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get out there and by God, I'm going to make a, and they have absolutely no plan, no war chest, no idea of how the business works. This course and these free master classes, Prepare to Be Unstoppable, they're worth, even if you think you have a plan. I would ask yourself a hard question. How's that going for you? What's happening for you? Are you doing what you want to do? And there's no guarantee that anything that Jodie teaches or I teach or anybody else, some casting director, you might go to a casting director, which some people consider to be like, oh, they know everything. They're there. That's where the secrets are. They have some vault at Bank of America, some safety deposit box where all the secrets of the business are kept.
Yes.
And they're the one that, but they don't know everything. Some of them are actually not very good at what they do. There are some actors who aren't very good at what they do, and that's what they should be working on, getting better as an actor. They've got the business down. They've got I do office hours every day. Okay, great. So how's your acting going? I mean, it depends on what's going on, but this whole notion of I'm just going to come out here and they're going to see what a star I am.
Yeah.
Not sure that it works all the time, but Jodie can help you. Jodie can help you with some things that are proven, things that have worked for others, things that fit within the structure of how our business is built.
Yes.
And that's today, not how it was built back in the 50s or in the 90s, but today. And I know that because Jodie is a working actor, she's watching for the changes. She's watching for the shifts in what we're doing. So go to voheroes.com/dare, pick your date next week, the 11th, the 13th, or the 14th. Watch what Jodie has to say. She will talk to you about the course and the community that she's been talking about all that goes on for all year. She'll talk to you about that then. But the amount of really solid information that you're going to get in this, very high signal to noise level.
Yes.
Very high signal to noise level. Anything you want to wrap up with?
I'm just seeing what Lencho said. You know what they say, fail to plan, plan to fail. Correct. Thank you, Jodie and David, for sharing your words of wisdom. You're welcome.
Yeah.
I think it's easy to well, I guess I'll just use the word jaded. It's easy to get jaded. And you kind of said it at one point as we were chatting, David, of like, well, I know that, and
to be clear, I wasn't saying I know that.
No, I know.
I was saying that some people say,
correct.
I already know that. Yeah.
Got it. I already know that.
There's one more thing.
Yeah.
That doesn't apply to me.
Yes. Those two things.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get why you'd say that. I have said that before. And then I have to check myself and take a step back and go, okay, but is there something else to learn here? How can I be open to this? So I just want to say, if you've been feeling like you've been struggling, or you created a plan and it didn't pan out, or you didn't even have a plan this year, or you want 2025 to be different, you need a different plan to get you there. You just need to do something different, because what you have been doing, not all of it's working. So I just want to help you find where those gaps are and those missing pieces are. And that's what really I'm going to help you do in the masterclass.
Great.
So, yeah.
VOHeroes.com/dare. Please use that link. It's simple. You can click on it in the description above or below, whatever you're watching. Above the comments or the description is there. There's a link there. Do that and know that I love this. I love what Jodie has to say, and I know that there's going to be more than one bit of thing in there that is going to work for you. Thank you, Matt, for signing up.
Yes, I'll see you there, Matt.
You're going to find it very interesting. Jodie, thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you.
And thank you for putting this on. And people will be able to contact you and your team once they sign up by going to VOHeroes.com/dare. And with that, we'll say thank you so much and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
And they moved the stop. There it is.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's be freeze. That's really funny.
Still live. I said end the stream. This is hysterical. Oh, you know technology, don't you, David?
Isn't that what you teach? He doesn't teach StreamYard. He doesn't teach StreamYard.
No, I don't teach StreamYard. And literally, I cannot see an end the stream thing.
That's so funny. I can leave the studio and just leave you here.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I won't. I'll wait. We will uncomfortably wait together in our matching green.
Yeah.
Did they really change it that much?
I swear to God, there's no confirm on end the stream thing.
It's usually in the top right.
Yeah, it says end stream. I'm going to click it. Welcome to behind the scenes, everybody. I'm going to click end stream, and what it gives me is end the stream, ? Set your outro video, and not yet. All right, then I'm going to just set the outro video.
We're going to be on here all day.
And I'm going to go and stay in the studio until the outro video finishes playing. Great. Play outro and end stream.